Well, hi again. This week I decided to share my experience from last week. I took a trip to Washington, D.C. as a member of the Financial Services Institute. There are about 30,000 members around the country, and our goal, our mission, or why I joined, in addition to a lot of positive networking, is to be advocates for independent advisors and their clients, Main Street investors. And that's what this week was all about. It was a trip to D.C. to speak to representatives and senators about issues that we feel are important, that we need to get in front of them and ask for their support. It was primarily a two-day session. It started out with a variety of different meetings from people like Robert Cook, the head of FINRA, the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority. That's one of our main oversight bodies. Also the president-elect for the NASAA, and that's a North American Securities Administrators Association, and that's dedicated to, again, protection of investors. We also heard from a current representative to give us a little bit of feel on what it is that they're thinking, how they view people like us. And we heard from a Washington insider. One of the more interesting ones I thought was a panel of three chiefs of staff, two from U.S. senators and one from a representative, and all three women shared their day, and I guarantee you I would not want to trade places with them, with the responsibilities that they have, the constant change in their schedule, and it just doesn't turn off from the time they wake up to the time they go to bed, and sometimes in between. But it was very insightful. It was very helpful in what it is that their staff looks for when people come in for appointments. And also from experienced people that have done this before. This is my third year, but how to run an appointment, how to represent ourselves, how to get our point across while staying neutral and apolitical, which is very important because we're representing our clients, we're representing the Financial Services Institute. We don't have our own agenda for this. The next day we got up bright and early, had a quick breakfast, got our umbrellas because it's the third year in a row where we got on the bus and off to Capitol Hill for a long walk to the first doors, and it was raining again. I'll tell you, if you've never done it, it was quite an experience walking the halls in the Capitol and the Senate and the House buildings, sometimes you'd see somebody that was pretty well known, a current senator. You may see other cameramen waiting outside. There was one instance where I saw a hall full of people from different types of media waiting for a committee meeting to end so they could grab their little piece of work for the day. History, just having that sense that this is our place, our meaning this is a collective family place, and we all had a piece in this. It was a little bit awe-inspiring. So what did we talk about? Well, in addition to the Financial Exploitation Act that we've been continuing to bring up, that protects seniors in that it allows a bit of a delay if we or a company feels really strongly that there's something suspicious going on. It's just a little layer of protection that hopefully another safeguard against those that are trying to exploit our more vulnerable. We had a couple of others that I think may make sense to you. One would have been we call it the independent contractor status. It's a Modern Worker Empowerment Act. There are bills in place that would determine whether we can be considered independent business owners, or should we be W-2 employees of a larger company, and taking away our independence would be a huge thing for us. Just restricting who we work with, how we set minimums, what type of business we want to run. So it's looking good, but we're hoping to make that more permanent. And another that affects all investors was the Growth Act. That has to do with mutual funds being taxed along the way. So you may have a capital gain in a mutual fund a mutual fund is an investment that may have hundreds of different stocks in it, professionally managed. And if those managers sell something along the way, in the course of a year, it may trigger a gain for that sale, whether that fund ends up making money that year or not. Well, that gain becomes a taxable event. Now, most investments you don't pay tax on until you sell it. That's where it's a little bit different with mutual funds, and we're trying to get that corrected so that there's an even playing field with a mutual fund or a stock or an ETF or a bond. And most offices were receptive, but we found out that this is a long game. It doesn't take one meeting, it doesn't happen in 1 year. But when you get to go to some of these offices, there are a couple pictures I'll have up here, you start to see the same faces year after year. You start to build a relationship. We're hoping that has something to do with a positive result. We actually had 147 meetings, I think it was, covering about 43 states. This is something I feel real strongly about. I pay my own way for this. Again, it's my third year, and I'm happy to do it, and I plan on doing it again. So look forward to next year's notes.